So our example is let's try to simplify this kind of trigonometric these functions. So tangent theta. Now, so if this is our function given, so we need to simplify. So let's try to use or just so in solving first, let's analyze the given problem. So we have tangent squared theta plus 1 and the tangent theta cosecant squared theta. Now, let's try to find some identities na aton pwede butang. So now, let's try daw ang tangent theta squared plus 1. Try natin kung mayon ba siya nga di identities. Okay, so adi siya, di ba sa sectan nga ato mnemonic, sectan. So secant squared minus tangent theta equals 1. So if an E tangent squared theta is E transposed to the right side, so we could say that the 1 plus tangent squared theta is equals to secant squared theta. So ganun siya. So this is so ano aton tangent squared theta plus 1 is equals to secant squared theta. Yan lang. So hinay lang. Also, di ba? Our goal is to make the equation simple. So, ibig sabihin, when you see a secant squared theta, so ito siya ang imo i-simplify or you will try, di ba, ini na tangent squared theta plus 1. So, ini siya, pag imod mo sa problem is para siyang masamok. So, what you need to do is to make it simple para simple na madali na siya or ma-open sa mata. Now, cosecant theta, let's try to use or what would be the formula kan cosecant squared theta nga involve ang secant squared theta. Here, let's use sin theta equals tangent theta. So, di ba, sin theta is involved siya sa cosecant, di ba? Kung aton kuhaon an equation for the, di ba? We know that the reciprocal of sin theta is cosecant. So we could say that cosecant theta is equals to secant theta over tangent theta. Diba? Also if an aton kuan nga di is diba? So diba just observe. Diba ginbaliktad la. Now, we can use this one. Cosecant. So cosecant is equals to, so if our cosecant is equals to, ano yun? Limot up. Secant over tangent. Secant theta over tangent theta. Yan. So we can have this one. So tangent theta times cosecant squared theta. So kung squared an imo, or therefore we could say that cosecant squared theta is equals to secant squared theta tangent theta, di ba? So ganun lang siya. Para parehas. Kung may squared nga di, tanan sila may squared. So secant squared theta. Yan. Okay, so we can substitute this one in here. So therefore, secant squared theta over tangent squared theta. Yan, di ba? Ganun lang siya. So, ang imo lang ang nilalagdan is kung nano ang pinaka or baga an in need to be simplified. So when you see, ini siya nga sa bawbaw, ang tangent squared theta plus 1. So you need to simplify this one because it is, kumbaga, kuhan siya. Possible pa siya ma-simplify. Also, ang cosecant squared theta, kasi di ba, mayon siya degree nga 2. So pwede siya ma-simplify pa. So we try to use some of the trigonometric functions so that we can be able to solve for or to simplify this kind of equation. So now, secant squared theta over tangent theta times secant squared theta over tangent squared theta. So, cosecant squared theta is equal to secant theta over tangent theta, di ba? So now, this is already how I it is an easy way to solve for such equation in terms of simplifying such trigonometric identities if you know the formula. What are all the formula for the tangent theta, all the formula for the sin theta, all the formula for the cosine theta, and then also if you know the reciprocal identities, so cosecant theta, secant theta, cosecant theta. So that is why that is your assignment to solve the remaining formulas. And also, let's you are going to if we have this kind of formula, Pythagorean theorem, I mean Pythagorean identities, or even the double angle identity. So parang ganon, half angle identity. So that is relevant in terms of simplifying such trigonometric identities. Now, so in here, so what we have now is here. So we need to what we need is to let's simplify. So tangent theta is will be cancelled. So an usa nga day mawawara, di ba? Kasi tangent squared theta is equals to tangent theta times tangent theta. Okay? Yan siya. Cancel siya, so mayon siya sa nga nabilin. So, overall, we could say that secant squared theta over secant squared theta over sine or over tangent theta. Now, applying the if you are going to transform the operation from division to multiplication, if we have a over b
Reciprocal.
so a divided by b over c, so if we are going to invert or to transform the division operation to multiplication, so a times what you need to do is just input the reciprocal of the denominator. So instead of so from division, so anong nangyari is b c over b na siya, di ba? Ganun siya. So a divided by b over c is equals to a times gin-invert mo an imo sign from division to multiplication, but imo liwat invert an imo denominator, so c over b. Ganun siya ang kanya concept. So ini we could say that secant sine secant squared theta times, let's invert the kanya operation from multiplication, tapos aton i-invert ini siya nga kuan. So tangent theta over secant squared theta. Now so cancel as secant squared theta, therefore our answer is equals to tangent theta, di ba? Ganon. So this is already the answer because simplified na siya. So masugod ka naman, sir, pwede pa siya akon siya igbutang ko pa ini siya nga formula nga tangent, ini siya nga equal siya sin theta over cosine theta. No, this is already our final answer kasi this is already the simplest form, or it is already simplified. So at this point, what we need to do is, as you observe nga di, cosecant x divided by cotangent x plus tangent x. So dapat in terms of simplification, dapat mawara ini siya nga fraction. Dapat wala fraction. Kailangan wala fraction. So what we need to do is we need to, now let's try first analyze cosecant x, cotangent x plus tangent x. So cosecant x, this is 1 over sine x. Cotangent x, this is cosine over sine x. Cosine x over sine x plus tangent x is sine x over cosine x. So let's try this one. So in terms of sine and cosine ket, para daw let's try lang naman. So kung diri nga solve so sine x reciprocal sine x cosine x, ang mangyari this is so sine x times cosine x, so pan ato in times sa cosine x, ang mangyari is yaon kit cosine squared x plus Diba? Sine x, cosine x times cosine x divided by sine x. So makancel ang sine x. So cosine x will be equal to cosine squared x. So sine x, cosine x times sine x divided by cosine x. So makancel ang cosine x. Remaining and sine squared x. Yan. Okay. So 1 over sine x. Yan. So next, let's try now ining equation. Okay, this cosine squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1. Ayan. So, yun nakita, adi. So, daw. So, 1 over sine x over 1 over sine x cosine x. Okay. So, ano na answer? And then, let's invert the main operation, division to multiplication para mas madali. 1 over sine x. Let's invert from division to multiplication and invert also the denominator. Sine x cosine x. Ayan. Therefore, cancel ang sine x. Answer natin is cosine x. So, cosecant x over cotangent x plus tangent x is equals to cosine x. Okay? Okay. Last. So gusto na, no? So, in this, so what we need talaga in engineering is we need patience. If you can solve it easily or if you cannot solve this kind of problems kung dali-dalian, patience lang. So, try to use another way. Okay, yun na. So, let's try, so cotangent theta plus sin theta over 1 plus cosine theta. So, diba? We have two terms. So, syempre nga is we need, I think, no. Our answer must be in cosine theta. So, now let's try to use the LCD method. Cosine theta over sin theta. Aton siya parehas laan mga sin theta. Di ba? Daw? Para press laan kayo mo. Next is aton daw kuan. Daw. Let's try reciprocal. So sa iyo liwat doon, pag try kam sa iyo pag solve, kun ano, bagay man la mas mauna pa kam sa akon. Theta, so initial is equals to cosine. So sin theta times 1 plus, so this is our LCD, cosine theta times try an LCD sin theta times 1 plus cosine theta. And then, let's multiply cosine theta. So, cancel sin theta. So, mayroon kito 1 plus cosine theta. Plus sin theta. Plus sin theta. Plus sin squared theta. Plus sin theta times sin theta. Yan. Daw. Bakit mala? Mayroon kito na makakuha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, distribute. Cosine theta. Cosine theta times 1 is cosine theta. Also, if we have cosine theta times cosine squared theta, cosine theta is cosine squared theta. Tapos, plus sine squared theta. So, therefore, this is sine theta times 1 plus cosine theta. Okay. So, ano natin answer? So, we know that cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta, ini siya nga function, this is equal to 1. Diba? This is equal to 1. So, therefore, if an aton ko nga is, so this is equal to 1 based on the function natin nga sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. So, therefore, yon kit nala cosine theta plus 1 divided by sine theta 1 plus cosine theta. Yan. So, based on this equation, so na-observe niyo ini, we can cancel this one, cosine theta plus 1 or 1 plus cosine theta. Cancel siya. Diba? So, therefore, our next step is yung get 1 over sine theta. Nala. And we know that this is not yet the simplified or the simplest form. So, we know that 1 over sine theta is equals to after all. So, this is our final answer.